This is one of the best build I ever played. Even I could say build of the league for me. The damage, tankiness, if I say amazing, this is not giving you 100% back how I satisfied with this build. What's up guys, Pidget here. Let's see what things we got on the damage side. Our skill choice is Molten Strike. When you hit the enemy, it will spawn magma balls, and all the balls can hit the same target if we slowing down the projectile speed. We scaling the projectiles number up to 7, and we start scaling energy shield to able use Emerald Edge unique weapon. This weapon has a few stats that only exclusive to this weapon. First, and the most important part, attack with this weapon had added maximum lighting damage equal to 20% of maximum energy shield, by also giving us tons of energy shield. With this league, we got new support gem to our build, and that's the volatility. This will give us more maximum attack damage and less minimum attack damage. Because this is a lighting damage based build, we already have really high maximum hit damage. This will increase even further. The less minimum damage is not really a problem, because by default we have very low minimum damage. The damage range will be higher, but your overall damage is also higher. This is when came in a very cheap and low level unique, Voice of the Storm. Lighting damage with non-critical strike is lucky. This means every time we damaging an enemy, the game will roll twice and will choose the higher number. This is pretty useful when you have very high damage range, and because we lighting build, our damage range is very big compared to other builds. Because of this amulet, we cannot scale crit. We can use a very interesting keystone, and I think this is the first time I'm using this keystone. Precise technique. 40% more attack damage if accuracy rating is higher than maximum life. For exchange, we can't deal critical strikes. Because our maximum life is 1, this keystone will take effect with 0 effort. Now we have damage multipliers. Now we only need base damage. This is when we start scaling our maximum energy shield. Where is the 14k energy shield is coming from? Let's start with the biggest source. Because we choose Trickster, we have access a really interesting node, Escape Artist. +1 to maximum energy shield per 6 evasion rating on equipped body armor. We need to use a hybrid body armor base to benefit from this even more. You need very high evasion and energy shield roll on the body armor. On mine, I rolled 2k evasion and 430 energy shield. Because of the node table, this chest alone will gives us 4.3k energy shield. We also stacking intelligence to get more energy shield in the build. I reached more than 500 intelligence. We are achieving this with int on every possible gear slot. The next big source is the global defensive tattoos on every possible small attributes nodes. This build right now use 38, so we almost capping out the 50 limit. But we don't stop here. Mid-league, they added a new tattoo to the game, and that's the Journey Tattoo of the Soul. +40 to maximum energy shield per allocated tattoo of the soul. We can allocate 4 of this, giving us 1.3k energy shield per tattoo. This is how we turning our defense to offense. We can use free curse in our build, because using a unique ring on a team, our curse limit is equal to maximum power charges. Every character can have free charges, so our curse limit is free. Curses I'm using is the following: Elemental Weakness, Conductivity, Sniper's Mark. We also using another unique ring, Nimis, projectiles will return to you. Basically this ring is doubling our DPS. We already talked about energy shield. This is one of the biggest source of our survivability. But there is another really important thing. On the defensive side, let's start with my favorite part. We have elemental ailments immunity, because we're using ancestral vision. Modifiers to chance to suppress spell damage also apply to chance to avoid elemental ailments at half of their value. And we get the rest avoid % from our boots. Any aspect of the crab fans out there? If you not use this aura before, this will give us crab barriers every half second, and it will grant physical damage reduction per crab stack. So this aura gives us 20% physical damage reduction, but when we take a hit, we will lose all of the stacks. This is when come in handy our high evasion rating. Using Grace Aura for evasion rating, so we almost can die from the monster's basic attacks or projectiles. Because we using Grace, we can use Ghost Dance Keystone. When we take a hit, we will recover 3% of our evasion rating as energy shield, and we can do this 3 times in a row before the stacks recharge. Spell suppression, this is coming from the tree. Yes, we can be spell suppression capped just with our skill tree. For the first time, I'm using energy leech as recovery. Because we choose Trickster, we have accessed an interesting node, Soul Drinker. This enables us to leech energy shield. Also, the leech effect is not removed if our energy shield is maximum. So we can just stand still in almost anything if we can hit a target. Also, we have option to take the Ghost Reaver Keystone, but in my testing this could be annoying to deal on boss fights like Ether of Words, where you can't hit anything when you need to collect the spheres and you will die because your energy shield is can't recharge. So I'm not using this keystone. You can test it out how you like it. We also using Arctic Armor to get more damage reduction to the build. Worth to mention here, we also using the VAL version of this skill as well. So we can easily cheat any big hits like Maven memory gain or even the big brain explosion if you want to. I was very surprised how the build turned out. The damage is out of control. I had to stop dealing damage because I want to record how tanky the build is, but we just phasing or healing too fast and the bosses can't do anything meaningful. This is very true on the Ether of Words and Shaper. The mapping is also very fast and feels good because the overreach and nothing. I've done a few very hard invitations, 90 plus quantity, and the bosses just melted. Also, there is zero map mods that breaks the build because we can't take reflected damage thanks to our awakened gem. I can just running Shaper Guardian or any maps unidentified. I would like if you hit the like button like the Shaper hitting the Elder so it can start spread to more people. Thank you! Few important things you need in the build. Using a bunch of unique items. Let's start with our weapon. Amphiral Edge unique weapon. This weapon has a few important stats that only exclusive to this weapon. First and the most important part, attack with this weapon have added maximum lightning damage equal to 20% of maximum energy shield while also give us tons of energy shield. Also important to mention, you need resolute technique corruption. Otherwise your hit chance will be very low or you need to cap your accuracy rating with your gear, which is really hard. Auxiliary Reflection unique shield. This gives us tons of energy shield and curse effectiveness and making us immune to curses. Voices of the Storm unique amulet. Lightning damage with non-critical strikes is lucky. We are anointing on this Ancestral Knowledge. Anathema unique ring. With this ring we can use free curse in the build, also gives us int and a little bit of energy shield. Nimis, your projectiles will return to you. The following implicits you can craft with the Elvish currency. Spam tier you get the following. On your gloves, inflict lightning exposure on hit and strike skills target on one additional enemy. On your helmet, mana reservation efficiency and increased elemental weakness curse effectiveness. We also using Molten Strike fires 2 additional projectile. On the body armor, increase maximum energy shield and aura effect. On the boots, avoid elemental elements and drop Scorched Ground. Flasks we using is Sapphire, Topaz and the Ruby Flask. You need the following mods on the flasks. The order doesn't matter, only one mod needs to be present on all of the flasks. Increase charge recovery. You need to check the POB for your flask uptime, it needs to be 100%. When you crafting your flask, pay attention, because there is a hybrid mod that also gives charge recovery, but you will get less flask effect. Reduce mana cost of skills during effect. I'm using additional elemental resistance during effect because it was hard to get the resistance capped. Also, attack speed during effect. Pantheons we using is the following. On boss fights, Soul of Solaris, and you need to upgrade 8% reduced elemental damage taken if you haven't been hit recently. This came on handy to tank the Cirrus Meteor. Minor, Soul of Tukohama. For mapping, I switching to Soul of Lunaris and take the Bleed Pantheon, Soul of Ralakesh. Bandits 2 passive points. I just want to highlight a few things on the passive tree that you need for the build. Using 2 8 passive cluster jewel with Feed the Fury and Martia Pruves. When you buying this, check the notable orders because we don't use the third notable and you can get different orders and you can't take what you need. Here we using 2 split personality with energy shield and int. We need to socket here because the 2 points is the farthest from the starting point. Another 8 passive cluster jewel with Feed the Fury, Martia Pruves. Socketing here the Ancestral Vision, modifiers to chance to suppress spell damage also apply to chance to avoid elemental elements and half of their value. Using Avacharai with gain percentage of maximum mana as extra maximum energy shield by affected by clarity, and you have increased spell suppression if affected by grace. The suppression is the most important to get, otherwise you can't have 100%. Brutal Restraint Timeless Javel with this line denoted service of Dekhara in the Akhara of Balbala. This will give you the Traitor Keystone. If you can, try to aim increased elemental damage or projectile damage on the nodes. Warrior Tales Unique Javel socketing here to increase the global defensive tattoos effect, and you need take the points like this. Impossible Escape Unique Javel with passive in radius of the Impaler can be allocated. Here you take this tattoo. Now the tattoos. We're using many global defensive tattoos in the build. One all attributes nodes here, and we're transforming all the plus 30 int nodes to Journey Tattoo of the Soul. We're taking Trickster as our Ascendancy. In your first lab, one step ahead. This will increase your action speed, so you will move faster. Second lab, Polymath. You will get more damage and get back life and mana and energy shield on kill. Third lab, Escape Artist. Now you can scale energy shield from your evasion rating on the chest. Uber lab, Soul Drinker. You have overreach now. Gem and Gemling starting with our meaning in our body armor, Molten Strike, elemental damage with attacks, volatility, awakened ancestral call, energy leech, and slower projectiles. When you're doing boss fights, you're switching out the ancestral call to multi-strike. Our curse setup in our gloves, elemental weakness, anomalous conductivity, sniper's mark, and Arcanist brand. We're applying these 3 curses with Arcanist brand. In our boots, Immortal Call, Clarity, cost when damage taken, and Flame Dash. In our shield, Increased Duration, Smite, and Ancestral Protector. In our helmet, Enlighten, Grace, Arctic Armor, Discipline. In our weapon, Leap Slam, Ancient Support, and faster attacks. Hope you enjoyed this video about energy shield stacking Model Strike Trickster. If you have any question, please leave a comment below. Also, I would like to say thank you for my Patreons to supporting me. Thanks again, guys. Thanks for watching. I was Pidget. See you next time.